Oh wow, we got rated. Hi. Hi. Hi, Andy. Well, hi. Nice to see you, everyone. Hey, everybody. It's Rob Phoenix. Welcome back. Today, we're gonna continue some more of the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we were able to finish the adventures of the Blossoming Attorney, and now we're gonna go to episode 2, the Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Let's begin.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved. But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern exchange student from his harrowing plight, then in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
My name is Ryunosuke Narahara. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived at the visiting student of law, having made a long voyage across the sea from the Empire Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made acquaintance of the world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of Detective Tomanji, from where I run my legal considerity of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's High Court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But that epic trail was just one small part of an epic tale, a tale which is now about to awaken from slumber, thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. I better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. Ah, Bruno! Good! I was just about to call you up for you. The bacon's ready. Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I have a surprise this morning. Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruto. This could be just an absurd thing from a pre-prepped scannation repelling mental simulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, yes. I see. So that's it. Oh, personal space, my dude. The truth is as clear to me as day. My facilities are searched and never revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruto, you have this very moment met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it merely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button on your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course. Though I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has? And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you. Hurley pull your button off? Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the waving notes of my haunting tune. But then, in my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? No wonder then, in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it in the proper place. Well, I'll get back now, please. It's troubling me since I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts in the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters is the present time, my dear fellow. It's simply whether or not my deductions is unreal. But Hurley, Bruno said it when it came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning. Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is a part of the British Empire, the famous consular detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat the bacon before it gets cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. I made a special blend. And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. Truly exceptional young girl who's the author of the highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, as published at Ramset magazine. So, Mr. Naruto, with your protege misery, what surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan. Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it really? That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact. Oh, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about her over breakfast. Oh yes, what fun! Actually, hold on. I'm gonna sleep here because I actually forgot to do something first. We go here in special context. Yes. Exclusive to Great Ace Attorney 2, there is special outfits. I'm gonna equip all of them. They all look good. Iris homemade suits. Holmes' Japanese jumble mix. I think I'll stick with that. I'll just stick with Ryunosuke and Suzato with this. Alright, that's all I wanted to do. Now let's head back. Alright, there's something to do first. Oh yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in a memory pot today? The blue carbuncle? Yes, it's from the case of theft that Hurley saw about ages ago. Theft of a precious stone. Carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see, especially coal from the rounded top. Oh, really? And this garnet was blue, wasn't it? Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered. Oh. No one knows what the stolen gemstone actually was. It's the real mystery of the case. A proper Herlock shows conundrum, huh? Right. There's also another one to do with this. The office maid. Now that Suzato is gone, the Shoguners are represented correctly. Maybe I'll have to do it myself. It's not a spade, not a Hara-san, it's a shovel. There, that's all I wanted to do. This is the letter that arrived in Japan this morning by international post. Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful handwriting. I wish I could read it. And how is your Bishop assistant faring, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually prepared as a lawyer in the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case. Ah, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful? A quote about your good self, my dear fellow. And one case is two, you know. Apparently Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume? No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped that man twice. You know, in those two cases that took place in Briar Road 6 months ago? Ah, the mustache-twitching man with the somewhat feline eyes and the mustache. You didn't have two mustaches, Hurley. Yes, who could forget those two cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. A very deep impression they made of you, clearly. So, what was the startling news penned by Miss Suzato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Oh yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that the case of that nature did not occur. He'd totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Otto asked if we read over the case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago? For what purpose? Because it's something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mr. Sato's father questioned him about the case, she said. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Miko Toba, prompting him to send that telegram. Oh, that case, yes! It was very strange, wasn't it? Yes. And I had completely compiled the whole story into the nice neat manuscript ready for publication too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, he said, very mysteriously well as well. Really? I said that? Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? But why Miss Uzato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan? It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off to Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? When she suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan. Indeed it was. Due to the telegram we received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No, he just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse. A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so she could make the voyage back home? Why would he do that? I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the Hansen launchings. Somebody got her back in Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Miss Uzato's father is hiding. Really? Do you know what it's all about? Ah, well, who can say? What? But you said... Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And the sting of analysis of the matter will be excessive, I feel, even if I quite at leisure. So, mend the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris? I will, Hurley, don't worry. See you later. He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. So Zeki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By of all people, Mr. Sholmes. Aha! I found them at last! Iris, are they... And notes about the case? That's right, Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted longings. Do you want to read them, Runo? Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light. That's the spirit! And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and fierce battle in court that followed. Relieving every detail. I just need to find a clue, and I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded in that windy streets of London. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement in a Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw the attacker, but, by the cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her that at the time was duly arrested. That man was Ozeki-san, and the man who effected the arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing our compatrion's innocence, Suzato-san and I decided to represent Ozeki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence.
Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation!
Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilant jurisdiction was short-lived. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing had regained consciousness. hurried to Bart's at once. So Susato-san and I summoned the handsome and headed immediately to the hospital. There you are at last. I'm kind of bothered that they let a rat in a freaking hospital room. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. Oh!
You're late! What on earth took you so long?
The telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital. That's right, it's only 5:30 now, and I think we made a pretty good time. The time is oddly relevant. In fact, it has been waiting for what it felt like an eternity. Important fact, I myself was awoken at 4 in the morning of the telegraph boy. I really it was someone unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour. I sent one of you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now. So, the victim is over there. She has only just regained consciousness. You should introduce yourselves. And I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement and the knife in her back. Her name is... Oh yes, here we are. Miss Green. Actually, hold on. I'm actually going to equip Sholmes' outfit too. Not here. There you go. Bespoke and Taylor. We're playing again in all available outfits. Yeah, that was what I was looking for. Alright, let's go talk to Miss Green. Good morning. Hello. I'm Ria Nosuke Naruhodo. I'm from the Empire of Japan. Oh no! What? Wasn't the knife yet? Are you the man who... No. I'm a lawyer. And I'm Susato Mikotowa. Pleased to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? No, I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you were getting consciousness and wanted to come to give you best wishes. Best wishes? For me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back. I don't think that's related, actually. Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to push herself down. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened in her perspective, I suppose. To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green. It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick. I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. But the case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here at the hospital, I mean. Indeed it has, my dear madam. Specifically by none other than I am Sherlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Nadahodo's hard work in court that solved the case. Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green? Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. He coming around seems to make everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry, I should have never gained consciousness. It was selfish of me. Oh no, we're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are. With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green? Oh no, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, student of art, really. At the Thorndyke Academy of Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts! Great Britain, such a wonderful country! Tell me, Miss Green, do you live here thereabouts? Oh no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road. I see. Oh, very interesting. I do love that they changed the bagpipe that he has. It's really cool. Oh no, is it? Braxton is some 10 stops away from the underground from here, and Thorndyke Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Center. Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less suburbs part of the town I compassion, dwelled in by those of inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Mustache. Inferior means? I suppose Soseki-san does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? He suddenly climbed up. Mr. Sholmes, you should be ashamed of yourself prying into young maidens' private affairs. Oh dear me, do forgive me. If you don't mind. I'm being discharged slowly, so I need to pack up my things. Oh yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you very much, Miss Green. Look, there's a photograph of this frame here. Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman. It looks about to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps a young woman special someone, do you think? My, Mr. Nadahodo, I didn't know you had such a sense of matters up front of heart. Not the least, I seriously said the first thing I thought of. Is there a Nari photo here? Mr. Nari Father! Naro Father now? Well, if you're looking for Nadahodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Ah, Mr. Naro Father, here, good. This is for you. It's a message from the Mr. Salty Nutmeg. Mr. Natsume? Send a message to me? But why would the policeman be delivering a message to Mr. Natsume? Exactly. What's going on? But a Scotland Yard constable doing play delivery boy at the time of the morning. What are you waiting for? Let me see that. Oh. Well, this is most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes, she says. Have you not seen this note? No, how could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intentions of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once. Murder! Call a cab. Time is of an essence. But the trouble is, we yet to read Mr. Natsume. No, I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit on his launching once we did. That will be entirely inconvenient. Convenient? What do you mean? It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we were investigating took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings. Wait, what? Oh, hail the force at once! It was only yesterday that Suzeki-san was in Kokoro. We are dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder in the man's own address? He may probably be the unluckiest man alive. Or did it seem to us at the time, but we were soon found to discover it was worse than we thought? What on earth? Oh my! The gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Oh, come, student of Mr. Naruto Squire.
Mr. Natsume.
Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday. I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I woke up the next day to this. Nobody would you catch a worm like this. Waffle worm with the wiggle.
I see your high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache.
Not that horrible Herlock Jones! Shoo! Shove up! Show yourself the door! I never invited you!
Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume. I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you?
Here they are, already. The busybodies.
Oh, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise.
Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face in the crime scene, Sholmes.
Ah, that you do, Inspector. Your heartburn is a result of your excessive compassion of fried food. Good morning, Inspector.
This is a crime scene, don't you go touching anything.
Or good morning to you too, Sunshine. Well, this is interesting. What a terrible thing to have happened.
It's only been 3 days since I was arrested on the incident of the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences.
So the victim lived here on the ground floor and your room is just one story up, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose.
So did you know the victim? Were you friends? What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it?
Ooh, well, I suppose he was a complete stranger. But he did invite me to his room. On my honor, I swear it.
What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruto?
When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. Through that inspector over there!
So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he?
Mr. William Shakespeare. He was a lodger here. As you could probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss as it happened, or just dead.
Mr. Shakespeare.
It was the landlord's older Mr. Gerbeck and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. And the fellow didn't raise him as usual, so Gerbeck got worried and kicked the door down.
But doesn't Mr. Gerbeck have a bad leg?
Ah, yeah, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese husband over there who actually did the kicking.
Really? Soseki-san.
The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. He'd been done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in his house. Miserable life and a miserable end to it. So what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it's because the fellow looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious, but I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the collaborator. You nearly said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear, Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. Certainly seems that way. He just come across such an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate. Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella has been a goner that long. My body's still warm. Even the inspector would allow it. I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. Oi! I said hands up! You're gonna mess up my crime scene! No, I was just wanting to look, that's all. No chance! I know you're kind. You messed up by looking at it. Ugh, someone's in a bad mood. There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't it? Alright, sounds like I better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Ha! You only observed what you know, my dear fellow. Investigating, really. There's nothing natural about that pose. Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery? Patience, my dear madam, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I managed to do is what actually happened. My goodness! But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes? How did you propose the idea? I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 inconceivable conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Oh! Ah! Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes has significant somehow?
No, don't mind me. Forget I was here.
And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the hair here last night that passed through the victim's lips.
Nonsense!
Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions?
No, please, pretend I'm not here. Invisible, infallible, incurable, insignificant.
Impossible to ignore. You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail. But of course, let me theoretically tragically before us unrailed by my great deductions, presented by a pleasure hunt in 2 acts. We heard some truly astonishing great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No, this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? So, my dear fellows, show your delight or wonder and let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes, logic and reasoning spectacular. Act 1. Alright, let's do this. Cause of death. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the event that transpired in this constellated room last night. Foam in the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates that they used a poison. Next to the victim, we're known as a large tiny plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap, meaningful and doubly. Why is it that this soap is so perfectly upon the dish, like the victim's last supper? In fact, yes. Could it be that the man is about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals his answer. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms with the foreman's cutlery, the victim engaged in the deadly battle of his life. Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery beast. The lunch itself is being measured by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by the poison that was taken to the contents of this plate. The soap, and the ledger about the young man's mouth was too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the excessive injection of foul soap. Though personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of the foul counterworks, of course. The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that the death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? A single teacup suggests the answer. To draw the conclusion in such mangled evidence would be foolish, however. The careful criminal would have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. So forced open now. At the time of the incident, the door was locked, and the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim succumbed to poison, he must have been alone with his inferior soap, and whence wafted the inferior scent. And with that a certain aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the thereafter. Thus concludes the final act of Kurlong Show's Great Deduction. There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes. You are disposed to identify just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Netherhurdo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he is, do you really think the man will be eating soap? It is quite apparent that this man has barely a penny in his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap could suddenly appear rather irresistibly appeasing. How extraordinary! In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it could cleanse my gut. And did it? As if with an agony on the floor, I spilled the contents of my stomach. Yes, I believe it did. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has that unpleasant taste and leads to the great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't even if he did. There's something that troubles me as well, actually. Oh, what's that? It's Mr. Natsume. Oh! I couldn't help noticing him stuttering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Schultz's seductions touched a nerve somehow.
Nonsense.
Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the Great Detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yes, Mr. Schultz's assertions and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it to the obtuse angle. When he does that, it fails to straighten things out. Alright, then let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick up the keywords of Mr. Schultz's quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange it for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive to what Mr. Schultz meant to say in the first place. In that case, are you ready for my second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, as he continues in delight and wonder, let the curtain rise for Sherlock Holmes, logic and reasonably spectacular, at 1. Careful examination of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate brew last night. Foam in the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates that they used a poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, one half of a sizable bar of soap, meaningful and doubly. Why is this soap set so perfectly upon the dish, like the victim's last supper, in fact? Yes. Could it be that this man is about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Well, you can't deny that the fork implies that the man was eating something or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soup, I would prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left at the plate. But might there not be any other explanation? The material that proves whether or not the man really ate the soap?
Take that!
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap at the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really. There's no doubt that hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Even I, in an unquenchable thirst of practical knowledge, took only a single bite. But that begs the question how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and not one that must furnish us with the answer we seek. From London's foul soap to sparing my foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of this plate. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then. Has he suggested the man licked the soap rather than ate it? If soap and leptin is not poison, then I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. There's no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, isn't it?
Take that!
Yeah, a teacup. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been vessels of choice of practically poisonous over the centuries. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to a conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Alright, we got that. Now we go to number 2. Cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? None of these will recall that the death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. The Western Festival of infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deduction so far. Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamspeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggested it. There's more to the suggestion than it seems. Let's go closely examine the scene of the crime for some more clues.
Take that!
Did the man die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there are 2 teacups in this room all along.
Oh!
In other words, this is a strong indication that the victim's last supper there was a guest present. At the very least, we can now say with certainty that somebody else was in his room last night, taking tea with the victim.
talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable.
To draw a conclusion in such make-or-break evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduct about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the vessel down, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know Do you know who exactly was in the room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. I'm not sure I like where the deduction is going now. I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the high-drum days of eating to myself. But the identity of the guest who was here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a bad feeling about. Well, you can't try to ignore your feelings if we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruto. No, I suppose not. I'm just gonna look around again. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially. I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read The Picture of Monsieur Lequa, Canterbury Yearlings, and Meal for Governor. Wait, I'm sure I heard these titles before. It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day. What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident where Miss Green was stabbed. Soseki-san has been in the bookshop and bought them, that's right. And now these 3 titles are here in the room of the victim. Yet Mr. Natsume claims he never to have been here before. What does this mean? Do you think... I really don't know what to make of it. Oh man.
Take that!
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so. There is no more coincidence that these titles here in this room It's the link to the truth. Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at the second-hand bookshop.
That's just a coincidence.
In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment.
No, never. Not negotiable.
You can't bring your own copies here that proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Having purchased the book 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conveniently have brought the books here that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here in the victim's room. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in this room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor was you, Mrs. Soseki Natsume. Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' Great Deduction. Well.
Not again! Not again! Not again! Not again!
Well then, Mr. Natsume, it would appear you're going to have to accompany me down to the yard. Again.
But wait! Hold your horses!
Yes?
Door, key, lock, entry, exit, entirely impossible!
Still, Flusher, he's even a stranger than normal. What, you think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy.
What?
You live in the same building, after all. You have just plenty of opportunities, I'm sure.
What? Misery me!
Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to get your side on the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache.
You horrible Herlock Schultz!
He really is feeling himself an arch rival now, isn't he? Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting.
Welcome, Mr. Naruto Squire. I never imagined I'll be in this position again, but you have to help me. Please, I'm innocent.
Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
And one more thing.
Oh, yes?
My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me.
And so, the evil curse had apparently unbroken. Dozeki's-san found himself once again the prime suspect of a case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. My dear fellow, this honor belongs to you. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Yes, that's right. Oh, and of course. What? Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garabet, who discovered Mr. Shamspear. Oh, Mr. John Garabet. Yes. I expect we can find him in the sitting room on the top floor as usual. Right, we must remember to go talk to him later then. Alright, guess it's time to examine. Oh, the poor man. So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was? I don't know. All we can do now is to hope that he'll be reborn to a better life. Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in the Japanese prayer will help a British soul? Sorry? I make sure that the reference is ready in just an occasion like this, really. I love the fact that the book is just... The book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. A moment. There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? What's this? It looks like a part of an envelope, I think. Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn up when the letter was opened. Is that significant? Yeah, it was a little out of place, perhaps, when you look around the room. There's no sign of the letter or the rest of the envelope, in fact, there isn't. Ah, she's right. And yet here we have a torn off end of the envelope. It just strikes me as unusual. I agree. We better take this just in case. And here we have another disproportionately large machine. It looks like a meter of some kind. Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins. Ah, I see. Yes, now you pointed it out. I can sense that there's a slot here, it just looks like it will take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here... That's right, it would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating. So if you were a poor person with no money, you have to sleep in the freezing cold? Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank. Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. As we see from the outside, the window's completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax that Britons had to pay. What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain? I mean, making people pay for a number of windows they have in their property is extraordinary. It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up in the windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh, what is it, Mr. Zato? If you look closely, a number of bricks are loose. Oh yes, it looks as though an amateur has broken out a few times just to heal them here. Was it Mr. Shamspear who did it, I wonder? Being a lodger raging in this room. Oh, look at this, Mr. Nadahodo. On the outside, there's a little ledge. And there's something on it. What, outside? It's so cold outside, you can feel it through the gap. It did snow all last night, it would be cold. But more importantly, what is on the ledge out there? What are the snow-covered lumps? It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are the bars of soap doing lined up in the ledge outside the window? I have no idea. But a pair of them look rather charming like that. Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window? I think perhaps we should take one. There are two after all. Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here on this soap. Ah! Do you see it in the middle there? The pad has a different color. It's sort of transparent, but it's sort of fancy design, I suppose, only in Great Britain. It looks like the Memoirs flag of Japan, doesn't it? Oh, wonderful. Oh, the very expensive brand. Expensive? But what's it doing on the ransacked old room? Look at these extravagant bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady going-ons. This one looks like a king's attire. A king? I was dreamt of being a king. Oh, I think you'd be more suited as a feudal lord, a daimyo or such like. With a chummer's chopped up, every Japanese man thinks he has a come rich. Oh, you look wonderful with mine. You already have a sword. Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets in London with a coverage and a sword? This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it? Where does the audience sit, though, for a nightly Shakespeare performance? Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Nadahodo, with or without an audience. In fact, on the related note, perhaps you should set up a monk bench of the defense in your office. What? Then you should practice your art every single day. Think about it. If you promise to don a beer and play the role of the judge. Well, if that would help you achieve your goal, this I have to see. Ah, one of the teacups that Mr. Shamspear and his guests drank from last night. Don't go drinking from them, Mr. Nadahodo. There's bitter poison inside. I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are all empty. That's true. So one is Mr. Shamspear's. And the other must be the cup that Mr. Natsume was drinking from. But Soseki-san wasn't poison, of course. Perhaps we should take these and we can examine them in more detail later. Looks like you're having a good snooping around, eh? Dr. Gregson, you back so soon? After I threw that little Japanese fellow in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be cordoned off in the yard. Oh, I see. Well, we better be leaving then. Fortunately, Mr. Natsume must be feeling pretty low being back in the cell again so soon. I'm sure we should probably go and What's wrong, Mr. Netherhurdo? Yeah! He's alive. Out, out, brief candle, light but a walking window, a poor player. That struts and freezes on armor upon the stage, and there is her no more. And now, how sounded the next part? It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, still feeling nothing. Indeed, oh happy day. What? Walking Dead! That's a good game. The fella isn't dead at all? What was that nonsense he was saying though? I think, yes, it was from the William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Specifically from Act 5, Scene 5. Shakespeare? So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. If the man was indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it hadn't been killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to the nearby hospital for treatment. And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Whatever that now was. What do you think will happen now? Good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume, arrested for murder and then the victim come back to life. I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison as we deducted. But was it an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder? Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody. I suppose so. I hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see through Suzuki-san's loungings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me, can we have a word?
Oh!
He just ran off. I feel sure that I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it? I do too, but I don't remember. Let's go to the Garabets now. Here we are again. The Cheshire Landlord's Cheshire Top Room board. We're here because Mr. Garabet's the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't forget. Ah, you chaps, eh? Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. Much of Mr. Garabet as anyone, really. Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning. I wonder if you would mind me telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garabet. Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room. Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? It must be a real shock for you this morning to hear that you discovered what had happened. Ah, well, I hope the chapter chat races the 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no Bali answered. And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door? Well, I called on that Rome-looking Japanese chap to do the guard work, of course. Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? A man could have just been overslept by half an hour. That's very true, Mr. Nuthuddle, and 30 minutes oversleeping warrants such behavior. I like to kick your door down every morning. Well, no, better to be safe than sorry and all that. Is this just me, or is he avoiding our glaze just now all of a sudden? Except that it was a sorry situation and needed to be on the far side of the door. The victim's name is Mr. Shamspear, I believe, is that right? Yes, William Shamspear. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now. And how would you describe him? In a word, dissolute. Dissolute? Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is that cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in that place like that is either broke or has a bally screw loose. Hard to choose which category Saseki-san will fall into. Mr. Nuthuddle, that's a little rude. He was doing research as well. Research? Into what? Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays on old bar myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that. Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated. It's incredible that Shakespeare is shortened for Sao, though. It's almost too heavy-handed there. There's a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually, weren't there? Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar in English literature as well. I mentioned he and Mr. Shakespeare would have to get much in common. Shakespeare interpretation disagreement led to shocking murder. I hope it's not that. Mr. Nuthuddle, really? How rude. After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between them and this morning? Well now, must have been about 6 in the evening at the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, if I remember, and it was completely dark already. I felt after Chap was out at the time. Mr. Garrett noticed there was no light in his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't show any energy for anything such, so I just sat in the front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shakespeare got back. And the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. It wasn't medicine sometime after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you. It was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Zato? Well, it was just thinking a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garrett, you were up here in your room all evening, if I understood correctly? No, I'm being fair stairs, not with his blessed leg. Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenants on the ground floor, I mean.
Oh!
That's a very good point. I can't imagine you would hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does the old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? Ah, shit, I know what you're thinking. It's a bally outrage. It's a military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I? And how do you know, Mr. Garrett? It's the gas woman. The gas telling me everything. The gas? What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you everything, let alone everything? Well, if you're probably aware, the gas is supplied in the building by pipes. Yes, I more or less worked that out. Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe in the gas main outside, and the gas company supplies gas by properties via the main. Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas sub lands up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously the room would get brighter. Exactly. At the same time, the lights in all the other rooms in the house would dim for a moment. What? They'll dim? Why? Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual, and that reduces the amount of gas for the pipes for the other lamps that are connected to it? That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mustn't it? Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe. Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable. Not a good point. Fact is, the gas company prices of these parts are pretty hopeless, long worn out. They barely got any action in them to start with. Opposites also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they'll glow brighter like the rest of the house. Ah, right. I see. So by watching the flicker on the lights in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. You got it. Oh, of course, but when people come back home in the evening before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out the lamps of fires. Clever. Point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it are slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights on here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house. Gosh! That's fascinating, Mr. Gearbed. Absolutely fascinating. Oh well, nothing to it really. And I can't really see how it's going to help us with the case here either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Gearbed is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again. A good idea. Alright, let's go to prison. Look, Mr. Naruto. Mr. Natsume, has the police finished questioning you now?
Oh, consider Mr. Naruto Squire!
Oh, yes?
Where is he? What is he? Tell me, is he a ghost? Is he here to help me?
Let me guess, you're talking about Mr. Sholmes? He's actually called himself the Great Detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost.
But his diabolical delusions, they're not of his world. They left me. Oh, cursed! Cursed, I tell you!
What's a hearse? Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruto. You were heavily involved in the deception too. Yes, moving on, we have some wonderful news.
Oh?
The victim we all thought was dead has come back to life again. Now, the absolute worst case, you can only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume?
It's terrible!
Oh?
I'm stuck in a cell, suffering for some silly wrong hand with a stick. You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer. Why the mustache? Causing questions!
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, that selfish shyster! Make up your mind. Are you dead or alive? If you were coming back to life, why bother dying? Wiggly witchy-watchy William!
Well, it seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place.
Oh yes, that might make sense, and I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. A lively debate last night was such fun, it'll be sad to think about it and laugh.
Oh!
Oops!
Oh, Mr. Natsume, does that mean... Though you did see the victim last night, you met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you?
I'm not saying another word! I demand to have a lawyer present!
Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear for your side of the story.
Ugh, why am I so cursed like this?
Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume?
There's nothing to tell! But, Mr. Naruto Squire, I am eternally grateful to you for helping me in that cursed case yesterday!
The case where you saw poor Olive Green, Miss Green, hospitalized after we ended up in the knife in the chest. Back. It's hard to believe that it was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my weary back, way back to the Valhalla lodgings. That evening, that past night it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare.
Oh, you didn't go to the victim's room then? As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'd never been to his room before. It was my first time.
Then what made you decide to go?
I bumped into him when I ran back to the house. We got chatting and we developed into a discussion. And he had to go out, so I bade him farewell.
That ties in what Mr. Gerbet said, that the victim went up and came back to for aid.
We met again later that evening at around 9 or just after. When I took him a nice tea I brewed as a gift.
So was you who brought the tea that has clearly been drunk at the scene then? And I suppose you were discussing the works of the Shakespeare, were you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate.
I'm sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare.
And the debate became very heated and she slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea?
No, never, not at all. Team Juliet won, that was me, and when I left the room, the flamboyant Philip was fighting fit, I swear, categorically.
Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I notice. That you have a cursed existence.
I'm sure I mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and at the time I learned that it's no place for me.
It can be trying to live in the foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. Yeah, but even in my room, I found no respite from my fears. I moved more times than I can remember, and then, 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road.
But why, I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable.
Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed.
Curse? Curse how?
The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why.
Surely no one will want to live in a room with a history like that.
I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books, and books cost money, and horrible history is a small price to pay. When I realized it wouldn't mean that I had to buy more books, I signed the lease like Leighton.
Brave. Or blinkered?
But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how terrible the room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful? How does the room's horrible history affect it, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling of pretty eyes boring into my back, watching me.
Do you think that might have just been your mind playing tricks on you?
No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was something else. It's been all nightmare since I was given the keys to the place.
A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean?
All the souls who died in that room leaned over to me in my sleep and tried to strangle me.
That really is horrible.
And now that I come think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was withering in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated slightly by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, I do it. And that's why I'm already searching for my next room in the history to call home.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accumulation of that kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself might become history. Ooh, Susato-san knows how to make a man listen.
Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse in my room as well.
You mean Mr. Garrett?
Yes, he knows that if the people were kept dying though, he'd never be able to rent it out again.
Well, it's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near that place. Ah, perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and the tenants' movements. You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he kept such a close tab on the occupants of his let's rooms.
What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please, forget I said anything.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well.
What's important is that Mr. Shanspere isn't in fact dead after all. When you come around and able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released.
Yes, please, I do hope you're right.
Excuse me. Inspector Gregson, I couldn't help overhear what you just said. And on to that note, I have some good news and some bad news.
Oh,
What do you want to hear first?
always, every time. The bad news comes first. If hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle.
Right, well in that case, the good news it is.
Huh?
Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way.
Then why did you ask me my preference?
As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shanspere, was just unconscious. He'd come around now. Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. He's still being treated by the doctor, so we managed to get a wooden shape from him already. Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness, it's all over then. I can leave this sombre cell.
Sorry, no. That's not on the cards.
What?
Why ever not, Inspector? Mr. Shanspere has implicated something as being responsible for what happened last night. Implicated someone? Oh dear.
You don't mean...
I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. By sweet poison did he seek my enter my life. That wicked caliph, Soseki Natsume.
No!
So
I'm afraid you'll be...
I'm afraid you'll be appearing according to plan. We want to make the necessary preparations.
No!
And so, once again, Soseki-san found himself having to live in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day I could represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blights him. Oh boy. Yeah, we could keep going. We'll just do one more part and that's it. The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. Seems to get chills down my spine and break out a nervous sweat all at the same time. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon.
That's my line! Good morning!
Ah, good morning, Mr. Natsume.
It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty here.
Yes, we somehow managed to prove you didn't stab Miss Green in the back.
But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole! Can't keep coming to court!
I'm beginning to think he's right. He really does seem though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I got bad news. Oh. Mr. Natsume, good morning.
Yes, morning.
So here we are again.
Yes, again. Judicial Assistant Miss Nikotoma Squires, what's the bad news?
Oh dear, you heard, didn't you?
If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can hear you what you say.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Mrs. Zato. No, what is it? Well, it seems that the prosecution of today's trial will be led by Lord Van Zeeks. Van Zeeks?
Oh, no.
So-called Reaper of the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. In the trial 2 days ago, he persuaded Uzeki-san and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through. Still. Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal of the last trial wasn't the end of the matter after all. Yes, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Bailey that says, nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Zeeks is the prosecutor.
Oh no.
That even if the person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another. And we experience it firsthand. A man is successfully defended and met the most terrifying end of the acquittal right here in the Old Bailey.
Oh, do I have to put up with those ice cold eyes pouring into my soul again? Cursed by evil spirits and not by the Reaper! Parents praying, peril, potentially!
Well, if it is potentially, at least you appear to have a hope, Mr. Natsume.
Welcome, said Mr. Naruhodo Squire.
Yes?
I'm innocent. You have to believe me. You, more than anyone now.
Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally at every step of the way in the battle. Promise. And this promise has to be a hard battle, I fear. Well, the trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go. Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it, Mr. Sholmes, I mean. That's probably for the best. Oh. If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. It's not going to be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zeeks were to notice, he'd prey on him mercilessly. At least, that's my gut feeling. Mr. Naruhodo.
You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, Locum Student Mr. Naruhodo Squire. Well said.
I swear all this sword of the side on the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free, with honor. Oh yes!
On the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsel of the prosecution defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. It's not just my imagination, it's really there. Lord Van Zeeks, has such an animosity towards us Japanese for some reason. It was some time ago that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years, he hasn't appeared in court at all. Yet now he's back in the courtroom, though for some reason, only when I'm defending. This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Sasaki-chan's trial.
Furthermore, I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty?
Absolutely. I have a feeling this Larkin isn't easy before.
I must say, I must feel especially ruthless on days when my hat refuses to sit right.
Oh?
When I ran like how you're wearing your hat, I think it's ruthless Lucas' way of fletching it in. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick.
I couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 buffs tonight, and the missus will go through the roof.
Oh, but the Lord showed us like here is ready flog of the righteous verdict.
The jury system is very different from our own, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think that the powers of judgment is in the hands of 6 members of the public, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement from the defendant's guilt. 6 citizens of London, chosen at random, or at least that's the idea. The prosecution will draw attention to the fact that the accused is on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors has been asked to return for duty today.
Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Menzies, your opening statement, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your last past decision. However, the innocent verdict afforded by the eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Did the accused repent of his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it. Instead, he used his freedom to perpetrate the most blood-curdling crime, namely in the attempted murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls us for a witness to the stand. The detective responsible for investigating the scene and the accused himself. Witnesses, your name and occupations, please.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gretchen, Detective Inspector Scotland Yard's Homicide Edition.
Soseki Natsume on the Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture.
Mr. Natsume?
Yes, my lord, sir? I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. I remember it as it were yesterday.
The day before, in fact, my lord, but close enough.
Believe me, this is the last place I want to be.
Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case of the court.
Right you are, sir.
The incident occurred at the Garibay household where the defendant has lodgings. In the ground floor below the room, Mr. William Shakespeare. The defendant already admitted to visiting the victim the night in question. Mr. Shakespeare collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by sewerage. He was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door.
This means I presume that the door of the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident?
Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry the exit and make the room impossible.
Although the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, lives to tell tale, he really nearly did. This man is halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was a first officer on the scene, my lord, and I have a photographic print here I took at the time to show how it looked.
Yes, a chilling scene indeed. The man looks very much diseased.
That's right. Everyone present believed that's exactly what he was.
Very well. I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Now then, Mr. Natsume. Yes, yes, yes. As a defendant, do you have anything to say at this conjuncture? They're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits. Good gracious, what's haunted? My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. The woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me! What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsume? How? Even in the fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shakespeare's room, I left my gas stove and climbed into bed. But before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me! You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume. But it's so cold! My runny nose would freeze!
I pressed the wrong button.
The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed?
Thank you, witnesses. I believe you have a reasonably clear picture of events. If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more. Conclusive point.
Conclusive? Go on.
Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, has regained consciousness after his ordeal, and he has named the true culprit. The poison consumed the victim was administered by a cup of tea that he drank in the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought from the victim's room by the accused.
The accused? Good grief! Order! Order!
Yes, that's the crux of this whole case. If Zoseki's not as innocent, then why? Why has the victim accused him?
Well, Mr. Natsume, what do you have to say to this accusation? That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me and I visited Mr. Shakespeare's room as a gift. The public water's pump outside always freezes at night, so I brought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again, never!
The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we heard before.
That will do, thank you. Now, according to our law, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon the witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objections. None whatsoever, my lord. Good. Then you will give your account of the events of the night in question in the court now. Yes, my lord. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor and I took some tea with me as a gift. We had a heated literature debate over a nice hot drink, after which went back to my room at around 11. Oh, my tea was completely harmless. He could have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he?
Should have just taken some time to have the effect on the body. He would not lean over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands.
Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward.
Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea has been harmless, presumably though. Tea cups have been examined for traces of poison, haven't they? Why did I think of that? Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to.
Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance?
How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incited. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea. Not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? It's simple enough. There was none left. Not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for poison under these circumstances. We only need a drop, and that drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough.
Hmm.
The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed down the victim's lips on the night in question.
I see. Thank you. The matter is clear.
Casting eyes over the jury, my learned friend. What? You can see in their face, I'm sure, the recognition of the accuser's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. He's right. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't.
Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. How long does it take for the symptoms to appear then? According to I was speaking at the yard in about 30 minutes after the poison is consumed, and the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping and snippiness, and eventually dies from excipitation. But there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There seems to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. You can't deny that, and it further degrades Doseki's on standby. I'm the medical report for the doctor examining the victim here, my lord. It spells it up, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it.
Very well. The court will add the sample report to the court record as evidence.
Oh yes, I see it here. Delay onset of symptoms. Great.
Objection!
The argument still stands, you say? I think not, Inspector. Come again. I think you'll find that you overlook a very significant chronological inconsistency here. A what? What are you talking about? According to this report, the victim must have been consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning, and yet the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11.
Oh!
Yes, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there.
No.
In other words, if there was poison in the tea that Mr. Natsume brought into the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill from it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left?
Oh!
I love the fact that they did the same pose.
The defense argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Menzies?
Pray forgive the discourtesy of my mind, I was wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the style of the Hollow Chalice this luncheon. How could it happen? You ask. I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. A phantom? It is so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused have left. For example, at the time stated at the medical report. Yes, at around 1:30.
Objection!
Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And in Japan, there's a well-known saying, drink tea while it's hot.
Objection!
Yet in my country there is even more a saying. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned, other possibilities.
What sort of possibilities, Counsel?
Well, for example, the man could have another visitor. Another visitor? That a very bold assertion, my learned friend. From someone who has nothing to sustain in it. Or the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition.
You're suggesting that it may have been suicide, Counsel?
Objection!
Mr. Shakespeare has categorically denied suicide. The idea canon must be discounted.
Objection!
But he could be lying.
Is something wrong, Lord Renzies?
I was just listening to the sound of the carriage pulling outside the courtroom. Pray forget the discordancy. Carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. Ouch, ouch! Brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his out upon the stage and has heard no one. It is a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, significantly nothing.
Who, sir, are you?
William Shakespeare, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What? What's he doing here? The prosecution seeks to call the gentleman to the stand. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. You're calling him as a witness?
Very well, Counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself.
Happy am I, Shakespeare, ever great deeds and my tale of woe, my lord.
What? I still have my own tale to tell, my own tale to worse woes. I can't relate the goaler with the tale of earthly innocent in perfect English. That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court know hear from the victim.
Oh. Alright. So that's Mr. Shakespeare. And who's the other man beside him? Yes, I feel sure that we caught no glimpse of that man before. State your names and occupation of the court, please, witnesses. A writer of words so sweet they do sense a breeze, an inventor of ideas so profound they compose the earth, an unrivaled poet and unmatched strife, William Shakespeare. Where the greatest bard ever recalled in life anew, lo, what a magnificent man! Good fellows, I appeal upon such a miracle, William Shakespeare.
Oh, my name's Mitterman. A drum beat Mitterman. I work for the Alamont Cash Company, East End branch office.
Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Oh yes, he's right, it's him. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? It looks like he's trying to see into Soseki-san's belongings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? Excuse me, can we have a word? Yes, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrett's house that morning. And he's a gas company employee? What does he have to do with this case?
So, Mr. William Shakespeare, you are the victim of this miserable affair, correct?
Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? The sweet poison that didn't cross me and cross my innocent lips. I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the accused will remove any room for doubt for the jurors' minds, I'm sure. Behold, you have only arranged the letters of mine industry that means a shepherd and angel indeed, and thus a noble mind, sweet of nature and bellishly, honest to heart, and all happily angels be. Because there isn't a less complete meaning to your name. No, not at all. The jurors seem to be moved by this man, I'm afraid. They're actually taking his serif anagram idea seriously?
Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating illusion.
Oh my lord, what's the man next to Mr. Shakespeare doing here? The gasman, I mean.
What? Me?
Well now. Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impenitence when you suggested that the victim had another visitor in his room on the night in question, and moreover, that the victim isn't a compulsed liar. What? No, I didn't quite say that. This young chin-stroker is here to corrobate your wild claims conclusively. Is that not so, Mr. Miniman?
Hang on. No, I'm just here.
I hereby call your formal testimonies. You will tell the court elusively as puzzled what happened to the night in question.
One may smile, smile, and be a villain. Yes, it do pain me, but let the truth be spoken. The truth of that winterly under my discurrent. The snow laid about. My neighbor then comes in the evening bearing a gift of tea. But Mary did bitter with my drink, and when he left, I did feel prostrate at my table. 'Twas the tea alone that passed my lips in the late hour Nostradamus.
I was outside this bloke's window by the freezing cold that night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited this room but the short little round back eastern fella.
Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shakespeare's room all night?
That's right. Of course, the bloke's window is all but blocked up, isn't it? But there's a little gap in the brick so you can see a bit into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered into that.
The question is, sir, why?
Well now, that's because he's on my list.
What a piece of work of a man. Wherefore wouldn't thou not stare at Waterman?
What are you talking about?
This buzzing busybody hath no part of this play. I pray thee, pray him no deed, and make no more ado about his tedious words.
What'd you say about me?
Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more.
Indeed. Is that so? That is so.
And the testimony we just heard clearly reveals there is no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime.
Well, I believe this may be a final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
To be clear, by neighbor, you're referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, sire. Prudence showed Con calling the man from upstairs.
And what time did the mustache-nipping niece visit you in your room?
Our meeting was prominent about 9, and Lord did he come to tender a gift of breaking tea.
Details when the accordance of the defendant's own testimony, yes?
And here we brought in a bit of liberty debating history I had not seen before. By which I presume he means a discussion of who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. On Shakespeare did play the part of young Romeo and my neighbor played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed it would be the characters we as we wait upon a merry experiment.
I dare not imagine the scene.
Fatally, my name is Woman. Cannot not tell how different man was? Yes, I heard the niche in the art of jiu-jitsu, but neither did I dream would I skill practice my comely maiden. Juliet beating Romeo up? This is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you can elaborate your statement about the tea that the accused brought in your room. My lady, I am the servant. Gladly I will do their bidding. Oh man, Shakespeare's the one who's doing the hard part. It's hard to do Shakespeare when he's talking like that. Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. What amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time? If the defendant had really put the poison in your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly, 'tis an easy task. What? I did drink the tea while allowed the guests were tired, but after he took leave of me. Face were twice stone cold, but 1 hour post midnight, rashly with my list party. That doesn't sound normal. Nah, that's quite ordinary, sire, after all. Those who recall a fiery debate, I miss such argument, there'll be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again, and who was stronger? Mr. Shakespeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my league. Twice to stoop over a word did attempt to shuffle me off from this mortal coil. Ugh, now you know what that means. So, you didn't have any kind of evening meal? Dinner? Supper? Ah! For luxury, for gluttony, to eat twice day is but a waste of time. Sorry? I would that my belly were full no more than the sun would rise.
Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say.
Night and day do I fill my hours with large study of the great bard and playwright. Hence it was there that dropping on my chamber being that costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case. Even the rodents found starved to death in your room. Now I think about it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, isn't it? I don't remember seeing a single player script anywhere. For I have devoured them all. You've eaten them? Every word is written in my skull. Then don't imagine otherwise. Right, that wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around? Could you turn around, you think? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed to the victim's lips is in the tea. But the windows of that house have all been filled in. A historical artifact and a now-defunct window tax.
Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork on the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through that gap.
Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of stone lying up in the ledge outside the well as well.
I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But that's the order, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body.
What's with all the theoreticals today? How the interest, Mr. Meaderman. After the accused had left and returned to his lounging, did you see the victim leave the room at all?
No, he never left. He was in the room the whole time as far as I am concerned.
And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be so sure of that? Police carry out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no radical of the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room and hence didn't dispose of the poisons contained in himself, it's clear that this was no attempt to suicide. Only a culprit would have removed the rectum.
Oh, yes. Lucidly explained, Counsel. Thank you.
It really was. You can't argue with the logic.
Hold it!
You say a short little round-backed Eastern fella? You can't be sure it was a defendant then?
Objection!
How many other short little round-backed Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London?
Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap, but it's only dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure I myself.
And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shanspeare drink tea together?
Nah, sorry, I couldn't say.
Why not?
Because I couldn't see in the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was a silhouette of the little round-backed fellow wearing a pretty dress. Then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it.
I suppose this was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway.
Mr. Meterman,
allow me to confer one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim in the night in question?
No question. Gasman's honor. My lord! Goodness me, yes, Mr. Foreman? I kept my mouth shut and listened up to us now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me? Yes.
Are we to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another? That you reached an unanimous decision?
Too right we have. Are you all with me? Yes.
Wait, no! The defense is in the middle of cross-examination.
To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room.
Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it. But in the end, what difference do they make? None as far as I could tell. And since now it's not apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I've been saying before, if I don't take 5 bottles home with me tonight, the missus will pull the top. What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well. Let the court be apprised by your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your learnings of the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
All of you?
Well, it would appear the jury's indeed unanimous.
So, this time at last, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished.
Wah!
Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please! The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Mrs. Zato? What about the information I found in the Encyclopedia of British Law I have? That is served right the defense of these situations, remember? A summarization examination. Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in the British Court of Law, if we can reverse the decisions of the majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke this right to a summarization examination, my lord. Why am I not surprised at my learned Japanese friend's inability to admit defeat? You chose to cling desperately as some archive of brew you barely comprehended instead of accepting the truth.
Certainly the one defense counsel at recent times has accepted the right to examination.
Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered.
Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel request is granted. The court will now proceed with the summarization examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman?
Believe me, my lord, we all know this young lad's tendency, and we're ready for it.
Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state of the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime to which he stands accused.
The victim may not be well off, but there's a noble man straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man.
Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid.
Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, too, all the while he knows the mustache. Very fishy.
There's no evidence to suggest that Kingly acted as a fraudman. For now, at least.
I really don't care. Like, I need to try to end this quickly.
3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all.
I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced.
It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shakespeare is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen.
If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theoretical movements.
And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume has said appears to have registered at all.
Well, here goes. Not forget. I pleaded with the jury on Suzuki-san's behalf before and it worked, but you never know.
Before we even begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you exactly how a summarization examination worked, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh.
Well, you're still very new to British law, after all.
It's true, I suppose, and Suzuki-san's face is tied in my hands now, too. There's always a chance I might have forgotten some crucial detail. Perhaps I should hear Suzuki-san out. I wonder, should I let her talk to me through it again, or not bother? Nah. Thank you for the kind offer, Mrs. Zato. But I've been through plenty of these summarization examinations already now. I think it's important that we don't delay the start any longer than necessary.
Of course, I understand.
And I'm quite sure you're right. If you're confused by anything at this point, you can turn to me and advise or whatever you like. I'll be there for you. The key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement. Finding the two are inconsistently and pitting the corresponding jurors against each other.
Without further ado, please, counsel, proceed with the summarization examination.
Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I've no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example.
Absolutely not, Mr. Natsume.
Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed through the victim's lips for that night was a Japanese man's cheek. When you take the gasman's testimony into account like that, the truth cannot be any more clear.
Well,
That's alarmingly logical. But let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman, with a gentleman's value. As it turns out, the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all. I'll gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen of the jury will do the same. Isn't that right? Well, yes, perhaps. I don't see it happening. Eh?
What's that? I only Jen at the end here, you know. You have to speak up.
Look, I really don't care about his nonsense. I need this trial to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have in the jury, then? Alright, sir. I may hold you on to that. Don't forget what you said.
Hold it!
A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam? It really is the most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. Can't be absolutely certain that the customer is stealing from us without hard evidence. We can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued. I'm sorry, you lost me a little there. Who are you? I'm the wife of Augustus Alamont, owner of the Alamont Gas Company.
Good gracious! Alamont gas, you say?
Gas is the future of energy of this country and around the globe, but proper handling is essential. I'm sure our employee from the East End branch office would be the first to agree. Absolutely, Lady Queen Bee. Gotta be used properly. Gotta be used properly. All I want gas is the best in the world, of course. I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Mr. Naruto. Right, he bowed for the defenders of the employer's wife, didn't he? So would it be alright to assume me that the reason Mr. Meterman was watching what Mr. Chanspear was up to this room? I'm afraid there's no hints and lengths that population of the East End will go in order to steal our gas. I really have no choice when the company identifies somebody as the plausible fraudsman, but to dispatch a worker to watch the suspect day and night. We're very thorough in our investigations. So you mean Mr. Chanspear is? I wouldn't come out and say it was obtained in public. We can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. You haven't noticed the public gallery in here, have you? The eye of a man have not heard, the ear of a man have not seen. Fish wouldn't bewoo me with thy words when I let them penetrate the skin. But serpents not hear no insult, but choirs with angels and song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around until they find it. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to the angelic heights of the Alamont gas explosion. But Mr. Chanspear has been stealing gas. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that information in your statement. My pleasure. Was it a bit about ripping that thief apart you enjoyed? A little before the part about adjacent violence, if it's not too much trouble. Yes, of course. This could be it. I can sniff the balance.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious, who statements do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 1.
What are you yelling about, lad?
I presume you heard juror number 4's statement, made by the wife of the owner of Alamont Gas?
Well, yes.
The victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man, is in fact turned out to be a common thief.
So the good lady says, but there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard him say as much.
It's true. We don't have evidence as such. Just yet. But the claims are baseless, you know.
What?
You heard me. Seeing as his operation's already been compromised. I would suggest that the court hears testimony from our East End branch office employee over there.
I'll do whatever I can, my lady. Gaspin's honor.
Juror number 1, you say you're a man of your word. If I could show that Mr. Chanspear was a liar, you assure me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt.
Yes, I did say that. And as a man of honor, I hold on to it. And I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will. Me? Oh, well, yes. Now that I've found out the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to consider the man a murder.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what you all have been saying. Now, if that means you recount a few points, that would tip me down to the ground.
Oh no, I'm not having any part of this. I want this trial over and done with. In that case, I shall change my leaning. So, Mr. William Shakespeare, if that is your real name, we in the jury to imagine know exactly what kind of a man you really are. Alright. That's 4 jurors. 4 for not guilty. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Victory! Order! Order! Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defense summarization examination, the jury's leaning has changed. Now only 2 jurors say guilty, while 4 say not guilty. I therefore declare the court to be a state of disaccord.
And order the trial to continue.
You have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Shakespeare. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you, the victim. But you gods be give us some faults that make us men. So God amend me, I do swear. These Gasman speak as the wish concerns us most, not but gas, not but thin air. I have burned bright a while, but I heard no substance, and I don't reek foul. Boy, what did you just say?
Do I take it, Mr. Shakespeare, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery?
Most heartily, my lord, hast thou forgotten I am the shepherd, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and brashly honest to heart. You following mouth and pompous beanhole just because I haven't found the evidence yet. Mr. Shakespeare, if in fact you are not noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony should have no sway in this courtroom.
It is my considerable opinion that at the present time no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard of this court thus far heavily implies the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable to exchange for meter rule on this case. Oh no! However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed a concern about the feasibility of this witness, I believe it will be inappropriate for this court not to pursue the point further.
Objection!
I assure you, my lord, that it would be a waste of the court's time. The gas in this case are unrelated. Juror number 4. Yes? Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man has been stealing gas, you had strong grounds for suspecting him? That's right, we do. And don't we, worker? Absolutely, Lady Queensby. Gasman's honor.
Very well then, we will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, has been stealing gas.
Yes, my lord, it will be my pleasure. On the Aldermont gas day. If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
This worker's testimony may be a significant barrier in the victim in my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him in my supervisory role, if you don't mind.
Wahoo! Oh yeah, sweetheart, honey, yeah. Very well. As an exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
You will wait till the class gives you an earful. Oh, it's gonna stick. You mark my words. Oh, you will both testify before the court on the subject of the illegal consumption of the Alamo Gas Company fuel.
Yes, is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Alamo Gas, my lady. Which is the clearest in the world.
Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Miss Uzato? I think the man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm proud to be a company Eastman branch investigator meter money collecting agent. Alamo gas meters are separately based. Each client gave customers about 2 hours of glorious gas.
And yet the meter in Mr. Shansky's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though. The collection agent has the only key.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is?
Pray forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hollow chalice.
What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zeeks?
Did the mustache Nipponese poison the Ganley member the excuse of the actor, or did he? That is all that should concern this court. And yet, now that we must listen to this. Abhorrence. Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than geographical distance. But this could turn out to be a crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead. Do what you will. Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood. Yes, he does. An attempted poisoning and a hindrance, a gas stamp with no supporting evidence? It's true that it would appear completely unrelated to the first glance. But I wonder the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. The first step by recovering will be established as who and what this man really is.
Hold it!
Out of interest, how long has this been going on?
Weeks and weeks. He's been pitching up gas off for ages.
Can you examine the meter in Mr. Shanspeare's room, I take it? Naturally, we took it off the wall and went over to find tooth comb. And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume? No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter be produced. One with an indestructible lock, the Shanspeare Special. That sounds like it would cost an awful lot of 3-penny pieces. And even after that, the rascal's meter is still empty.
I'll never forget the humiliation. When I opened up the money box, I found it bare. You what? I said. You what? And the look on his face, this smearly smile of his. They pulled up the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. And you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of regen but everywhere, not a single sign. And what's happened to my salary as a result? Down to 3 shillings a day, that's what.
A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter?
Nothing became of it. I still got it.
Oh?
Right here.
No wonder they call you Meterman.
It would appear imprudent to court secret of this item with Traluncorn.
Definitely. Although at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it. Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Though I would say it has more valuable constants of the meter. Oof. So let's actually check this out. Oh. Oh! What's... Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruhodo? Just here. There's a little hole. Don't you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. Not a very neat hole, isn't it? Not professionally made, I say. So you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shakespeare? Probably. It seems the people at Alamont Gas must have missed it. Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through the inside. Yes, but there's no way a coin could fit through here. It's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious.
Objection!
Lady Alamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly shows some sign of having been tampered with. What?
Get away! I've been over and over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it.
In that case, what do you have to say about this small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box?
Huh? What?
You're right! You're quite right, there's a little hole there! The meters aren't supposed to have that! None of the others do! In other words, I can assume that Mr. Shakespeare secretly opened this one hole himself. Yes, I wouldn't be all that surprised. But why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You wouldn't get that far through that.
Lady Alamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design. What sort of details? Well, what I specifically like to know is... how does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put in 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the meter know that the coin has been fed in a top penny bit? Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by the shapes and size, which includes their thickness. A thumb penny bit is about 3/4 of an inch of a diagram, you see. Other coins which just wouldn't fit. Ah, I see. It's clearly been very well thought out.
The witnesses will amend her formal testimony with that information in that case if this pertinent.
As you wish, my lord. The meter is designed for coins the exact diagram difference of a thumb penny bit. Nothing else will fit. Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on this side, about 2 centimeters across. Or 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think? We did find the soap in the scene, didn't we? Yes, there are 2 bars of that little ledge just outside the window. So we took this one. I'm sure that when we first found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle there. I remember it clearly. Yes, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone?
Objection!
Let me just confirm something here. If the diagram and thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object if it were a tuppenny pit, is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating Mr. Shakespeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the diagrams perfectly. Something the same as size as the tuppenny pit? What was it? The item in question is this.
What? Have you been installing gas? A bar of soap?
It certainly looks nothing like a tuppenny bit, I must say. Looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. What's so important about the soap is this part here. You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean. Ah! Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there? That's right, a depression that is approximately 3/4 of an inch of diagram. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a thumbpenny pit.
Get away! Does anyone here present have a possession of a thumbpenny pit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
Thanks to the kind member of the public of the gallery, I here have a thumbpenny pit. Now, to see if it fits. My word! It couldn't be more snugged.
Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Alamo Gas Company has been defrauded. Well, I don't believe it. So, your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a technical connection to the theft of gas? Yes. The depression of the soap was clearly made by the thumbpenny pit.
I must concur at least that pushing a coin of such force as a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of cleaning the coin shape.
And that you could just use raw cemental wax or something to pour into the mold. You can make fake coins in no time. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shakespeare has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me a new explanation of what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. If the man has been making fake coins, my work here would have found it when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Alamo. In the absence of some black magic that could make it disappear.
I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes. Exactly. And the meter here gives it away. What on earth? There are remnants of a magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room.
If that is your assertion, Counsel, the defense will identify these remarks at the court at once. Where on the meter the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins disappear to sea?
Got it!
We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime just outside the victim's window.
Outside?
Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loafing at the freezing winter air. That's where we found this soap.
Oh, I get it.
That's right. The answer, of course, is ice.
Did you say ice?
Mr. Shakespeare has been leaving soaps outside this window each evening filled with water. After the night outside of the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning. Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving them light and warmth in spades. In his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter coin box melts, turning back into water and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made by the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Alamo gas. Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us with some bars of soap and some water. That's right, madam. I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent into helping that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a tiny bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless. I'm barely sure I didn't design it. Evidence! Sorry? I want evidence. If you're gonna stand here and tell us the meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's really good at enforcing accountability, isn't she? Very well, Lady Alamont. If you like evidence, I'll provide it. What? Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support his theory? I didn't notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. And I have a feeling that this theory we come up with now could explain it. The place of evidence that sustains the theory about how Mr. Shanspeare is stealing gas is...
Take that!
This is a photograph of the scene of the point where the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. And it clearly shows that the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shanspeare. What remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shanspeare's room. Now, look closely on the floorboards directed underneath the meter. What? What is that? Some kind of grubbly stain? Almost certainly, it's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter. Ah! If one coin gets around 2 hours of gas usage and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would use around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice inside the meter coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor. This is awful. And here further evidence too. Mr. Shanspeare stumped over his table, apparently having consumed cyanide. And right next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. You're right!
It would appear to me then, Counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he?
Pardon me for disagreeing for your lordship, but certainly not. He didn't beat around the bush there, didn't he? In truth, Mr. Shanspeare has bound the fork in his hand.
The meal was so sounding increasingly lightly, Lorenzi. Did you mean to say he was using that fork too?
Yes. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap. Ah. But the bar broke in half. But perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious!
Lord Ranziques? I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hollow bottle on the way. Pray forgive my melodramatic mistake.
What is the meaning of this, Counsel?
Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly do you examine with your most recent cross-examination? Well... that Mr. William Shanspeare is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable. That's it. That's exactly it. Very well. Let us assume this man is a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? Well, we know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. And on the night in question, there are no other visitors in the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Furthermore, the only possible way that the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Shanspeare is a liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it. Ah! Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for an immediate adjudication. You... What?
Order! Order! Well, Counsel, how does the defense respond?
Mr. Naruhodo! What was the point of the last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Six is saying? No, this isn't over. The defense will not rest.
What? But Counsel, you successfully explained everything. You identified and sustained the honest corruption method employed by Mr. Shanspeare to consume gas. What's more there to discuss?
Lord Van Six has highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. But contrary to what he would have court believes, not all of them has been objectively established at all.
What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend?
At least one of those so-called facts that the assumption make due to lack evidence. But the situation has changed now, following the cross-examination of the latest witness to take the stand.
Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense?
Yes, when you bring everything we learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's no question that we now need to reconsider. Namely, we all been led to believe that the scintillating poison that affected Mr. Shanspeare wasn't the tea brought into him by Mr. Natsume, but that's conjecture at best.
Objection!
The victim was testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. And since there are no traces of the tea left at the scene, it could have been tested for traces of the poison.
Objection!
As I said, the situation has changed. Because in fact, some of the Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene. And a particular piece of evidence proves it.
Objection!
A ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed?
The defense has made a bold claim indeed. Very well, Counsel. Present your proof. What evidence of the scene of the crime can you tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
Take that!
Good gracious! The soap again? The same bar that the victim used to fashion his coins of ice?
Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found the bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing light up in the lights outside the window? I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered the Gas Thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time were normal ice.
There was something strange about them, you mean?
Exactly. Something very obviously strange. They were red.
The ice was red? No. You mean...
That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea.
What?
I want to remind the court of the statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in the trial.
That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shanspeare's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again, never. Oh yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains at the east end are prone to freezing.
So in the night of question, Mr. Shanspeare, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins.
My word!
There were 2 bars of soap in the window ledge, and my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. Frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shanspeare's window.
Extraordinary.
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that even if one drop of tea remains, Scotland Yard will be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove and disprove what has until now been mere conjecture. by finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contains cyanide at all.
You smug Nipponese.
My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice by passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining spars of soap at the scene at once. And the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea and bezel with it, to determine whether or not it contains any poison.
Bailiff! Bailiff! Instruct the police to attend the scene at once!
Yes, my lord, understood.
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. I trust you have no objections, Lord Van Zeeks?
None, my lord.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the inquisitive test immediately. A trial will resume in the same hour tomorrow. The prosecution and the defense may conduct further investigation as appropriate as they enter.
Yes, my lord. Well, we managed to scrape through there somehow.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Alright. I think that's good progress. Alright. We're gonna end it here. I'm gonna continue some more Great Ace Attorney some other time. Now, and there will be no raid target tonight. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.